Hello everybody and welcome to another mini intuition masterclass. In this particular masterclass, we're going to build on what I talked about in a previous masterclass, which was introducing the cosmic laws, the law of mentalism. We're going to talk a little bit about the law of correspondence today. The law of correspondence is the second law in the three immutable hermetic laws, and these immutable hermetic laws are such a key foundation in the intuition courses that I run. So we talked about the law of mentalism in the last lesson, or masterclass if you will. And the idea of the law of mentalism has two key concepts. One is the fact that there is an inherent interconnectedness of everything. And two, we talk about the levels of mind. And so we talked about the conscious reasoning mind, that 5 to 10% of most of us. And then we also talked about the subconscious, which is about 90 to 95% for most of us. Whilst we like to think that the conscious reasoning mind, our personality, our likes, our dislikes, is in charge, in fact, at 90 to 95% for most of us, the subconscious is really in charge. And so we're going to build on this idea when we talk about the law of correspondence here today. So the law of correspondence, again, like the law of mentalism, has two key concepts. One, we talk about as above, so below. And we also talk about as within, so without. And when I talk about as above, so below, I'm going to touch on this one briefly today. I want to focus more on this one. But what we talk about when we think about as above, so below, we can also think about this as is heaven, as in heaven, so on earth. And the idea that we have settled, and as a collective, we have settled, and the bar is so low. You know, we accept states of anxiety and overwhelm and frustration as fairly normal, and that becomes one of those kind of parts of our lives that we just accept it. And we do not believe that heaven on earth is possible because we have just accepted our normal as these really stress-ridden states. So that's the idea that I want to kind of park there for the moment, because I really want to spend some time over here. And this one is the as within, so without. And so what this talks about, I want to read this to you. The law of correspondence means that the thoughts and images that we hold in our conscious and subconscious mind will manifest their exact likeness in our external reality. I want you to take a moment to let that percolate, let that sink in. So if you think about it, when we talked about in the last masterclass about the law of mentalism, that's subconscious and conscious mind over here, the thoughts and the images stored in our conscious and in our subconscious mind will manifest their exact likeness in our external reality. What that means is that if we do not do the work to clear out our subconscious of all of those faulty beliefs and those fear-based stories, then they will manifest their exact likeness in the world around us. And the idea that the subconscious is there, you know, we have an individual subconscious, like I have a subconscious, you have a subconscious, but there's also a collective subconscious, if you will. And so in the collective, the stories and the beliefs stored in our collective subconscious are predominantly geared towards fear. They're negative because of the collective reality that we witness. And so if we want to come into right action with the law of correspondence, then what we need to look at doing is exploring the contents of our subconscious and clearing out that which is not helpful, not constructive, raising consciousness, bringing out those faulty beliefs and moving them from the darkness into the light. And so when we look at the law of correspondence as well, this is my favorite law to teach, because it's the way I describe it to my intuition students is that it's the law of self-responsibility. You know, as within, so without. If the world around us, if the environments and the places that we find ourselves in and the people that we are having exchanges and experiences with are reflecting things that we do not want, then we must take a step back and go within and say, where within me is that happening? Where is that belief stored? You know, someone's really angry or frustrating or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter what's happening outwardly. What's important is that we then go within and we reflect, and we then sort of hold up that mirror and look and go, okay, this situation, this person, whatever it is that's happening, is simply a reflection of what is happening, either the images or the thoughts in my conscious or subconscious. And because your subconscious is about 90 to 95% of you, that's the bulk of where most of these things come from. And so what we have to do is we have to do the work of exploring our subconscious basement. And when we do this particular lesson in my 10-week online intuition course, we have a practice that goes with every lesson. In this particular lesson, we meet a shadow archetype. So in this particular lesson, when we do the law of correspondence, we go and we meet a shadow archetype based on the work of Caroline Myss. And so there's 4 key shadow archetypes that we work with. We have the child, the victim, the prostitute, and the saboteur. And we do a visualization, we do a guided visualization practice to go and meet one of the shadow archetypes that's hanging out in our subconscious basement. And it is such a powerful and profound practice that it's one of those things where every time I think back to me doing that, and I've done this practice a number of times where I've been guided to do the practice rather than being the person guiding, and every time I meet a shadow archetype, it's just so potent and so powerful. These shadow archetypes all have a light form. They all have a guardian of light form, and they all have a really beautiful message for us. For example, the shadow of the child in its light form is the guardian of innocence. The shadow of the saboteur, for example, in the light form is the guardian of choice. The prostitute is faith and the victim is self-esteem. So they've all got a light form as well as the shadow, and they have such great information for us. But we must do the work, doing shadow work, working with our subconscious doesn't just happen like this. It's you cannot change at the level of mind in which that was created. You must go and do the work at the subconscious basement. If it has gone down, being the belief, whatever it is that is being reflected to you, this is an opportunity for us to go and explore what is in our subconscious basement that may be informing that reality, because as within, so without. And what can be really interesting with this law is that we want to blame others, we want to blame other people, and instead, if we step back, and as I said, this is, a law of self-responsibility, if we then look at this law as a law of self-responsibility, the environments that we find ourselves in, the circumstances, the things that we are experiencing, if we can step back and ask ourselves, where in us is that true? Then we start to find some real magic. All right. So as within, so without is one of the key ideas behind the law of correspondence. There's also as above, so below. And we touched on that briefly. There's a lot more to this part, but that's, that we don't have enough time in this mini masterclass to go into all of it. But this is one of the lessons that we do in my 10-week online program. So I've done a few masterclasses with you here. If you haven't watched them, please do feel free. Have a scroll back through the videos on my page here. Go and have a little look. So we started off with a little bit of information about the 2 types of intuition. Then we looked at some of the science of intuition in another one of the masterclasses. That one's talking about the heart and intuition and what they've got to do with one another. And then the third one, the most recent one I've done prior to this one, is the one on the law of mentalism. And that's about cosmic laws and intuition. So that is 1, 2, 3. This is number 4 in the series of the free Facebook, I was going to say free Facebook Live, but it's a free mini masterclass on Facebook Lives here that I'm doing for you guys. These little taste testers of my 10-week program, they're all a little bite-sized piece of the content that you will experience when you join me in my 10-week online program. Women only, sorry men, I only work with women or anyone who identifies as a woman. And the program starts next week. The doors close this Friday the 19th of June, which is only a couple of days away now. So if you're watching this and this I was going to say piques and sparks your interest, and I almost said parks your interest, trying to create new words. If this speaks to you, if this piques your interest, or if it sparks a little curiosity and you'd like to learn more about intuition, how it works and how to work with the laws of the universe, these cosmic laws, then I invite you to come and please feel free to watch some of my other masterclasses if you haven't yet, but please do take a look at the information. I'll just pop in 1 second. There we go. That's the link that you need to the details of the program. It's a 10-week course. It's all online. It's all live. There's nothing pre-recorded. There's 90-minute lessons every single week, and each lesson has theory and a practice. So as I mentioned just before, we do the law of correspondence, and then we do the shadow archetype meditation or visualization in that practice. And all throughout the 10 weeks, you've got those 90-minute lessons, and we've got a couple of bonus calls, 3 in fact in total, around the beginning, middle, and end of the program. And those bonus calls are designed for us to come together on Zoom. No content, no teaching, just for us to chat and connect, for the group to come together and to talk about the content, to share your experiences and what it is that you're learning. All right, so I'll just quickly check how long I've been live for. 10 minutes, beautiful. So if you have any questions about any of this, about any of the content, about the program, I've just had someone join up just a moment ago, then please do reach out and let me know. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. And in the link that I've just shared as well before, that is the landing page. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the landing page, you'll see there's a little button at the bottom there to book a 20-minute chat. Feel free to book a 20-minute chat with me. It's completely complimentary, obligation-free, but it's to answer your questions about the program, to make sure that this is the right kind of program for you and that it's the next best step. So if that's the case, please do feel free. I've got a couple of spaces in my calendar for today and tomorrow. And if you really need it, I can make some space on Friday as well. But doors close midnight Friday. And the reason for that is so that I can get your welcome gift, your package that you get, into the post, because there is a book that you read along with this program as you do it. And I want to get that posted over to you. I'm looking to see if I can find mine, but it's not within arm's reach, so I won't try and grab it now. But yeah, I want to get that to you guys in the post as soon as possible. So the woman who's just signed up today, welcome aboard. I'm so excited to have you joining us. And the welcome pack for her, I'll pop into the post this afternoon. So if you have any questions about the 10-week online intuition course, I would love to answer them. Please do reach out. Feel free to send them to me in a message if you'd prefer. Pop them in the comments below. I don't mind. It's up to you. And if you have more specific questions, feel free to book a 20-minute chat. Always happy to answer all of your questions. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching this little mini masterclass. I hope you've enjoyed it. Go back and watch the others if you'd like to. Make sure that you've watched the one on the cosmic laws and intuition, because that's where we talked about the first law of mentalism. And this one's all about the law of correspondence. And I'll be back again soon and I'll talk to you about the law of vibration and then maybe even energetic protection. All right, guys, that's it from me. Take care and bye for now.